What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Evelor Savior. Now, we wanted to talk to her just about a few things. Definitely she being from Haiti, and definitely have a lot of questions regarding to that and a few things about her. So, Evelor, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be on the African Diaspora show. So, yes.
All right, Evelor, tell people just a little bit about yourself. Like you said, they see you, they say he from Haiti. So, give people your background.
Awesome. So I was born in Haiti. My mom died when I was 1 year old, and then my dad died when I was 2 years old. I have no blood sisters or brothers. I've been adopted more than 7 times, and one of my adoptive parents brought me to the United States. So that's how I ended up here. And now, currently, I live in Miami, where I run a marketing agency helping entrepreneurs build their brand and get more customers using Facebook advertising, media, press, and different things. I also work with music artists where I help them make more money with their creative brand as well, helping them build a fan base and things like that. Along with Mahogany Beats, who is a 2-time Grammy Award winner. So we've teamed up on that project. It's called the 21-Day Music Business Plan. So that's pretty much, what is taking up all my time. Lately, I've also published 4 books in the personal growth realm, talking about my journey overcoming suicidal depression, from grieving my parents, and from there going into the world of meditation and spiritual awakening. So I shared my journey with the world in those books, and I have a little bit of social media audience where I share tidbits on personal growth, wellness, meditation, and I do a lot of fun stuff, and my whole thing is helping to move humanity forward, using art, using comedy, and also entrepreneurship, because that's very important. We got to make money. It's not all fun 24/7. We have to, build an empire and legacy, and do our ancestors proud. So that's what I'm about, pretty much.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Where you get that shirt from? Because it's seeing you about your money.
Yes, it's all about money, money. Oh my God, I got it from Hong Kong. I bought it from a web factory in Hong Kong, and they shipped it to me.
Okay, like I said, I'm a firm believer of you don't show your money, but hey, some people want to show it. That's fine. But I want to go for a few things you talked about. You talked about your parents. You said at 1 year old, your mom died, and your dad died at 2 years old. So you went to like an orphanage, or you went with the state, or how did that work? Because you mentioned that you was adopted about 7 times or so before you went to the United States. So what was the process of that, for you?
Yeah, well, I was adopted more times when I got to the United States. When my parents died, the lady who used to babysit me, she took me in as her daughter. She was my parents' neighbor, and she took care of me from 2 years old to 16. And then when I turned 18, I got adopted by a family member who brought me to the United States. But unfortunately, that didn't work out because of some issues that were happening, and the social services ended up taking me out of there for my safety. So from there, from the social services, then I ended up going from shelter homes to foster homes, and then it's just been, multiple homes from there.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned that you're working like within the entertainment industry, obviously. And,
Yes,
did you
currently.
go to school for that, or like what happened with that?
Yes, I did. I did study marketing. I did online colleges for that. But I've been in the music world since I was since I was 3. I've been, going around singing in churches, how it is in the Caribbean, where when, all the kids, you have to sing in the church choir. So I was always in the church choir and things like that. And later on, when I got to the United States, I started, doing music, recording, and along the way, when I studied marketing, then that's when I started, helping musicians with this 21-day music plan now with Mahogany Beats.
Okay, so yeah, I know about that. Singing it, you singing in the church or being in it's no different here than Black America, for sure. I remember I was there every Sunday. You had to go to church. You had to be in the children's choir. Had to go to vacation Bible school. So I know all about that. Trust me, it's nothing no different from Black America to, I guess, from the Caribbean. But when's the last time you've been back to Haiti?
Maybe before the coronavirus shutdown, I would say last time I was there in February this year.
Okay. All right. So you still connected with some family members there? Or you say you just don't really know?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I grew up there 16 years. So, I mean, all my childhood friends are there. Family, the church people, we still stay in contact on Facebook. You know how it is. So yeah, like all my peoples are there.
Right. So you mentioned also earlier, say outside of your 4 books, you mentioned a time period that you was dealing with some depression and thoughts of, suicide. But I see you today, like you like got a lot of energy going on, out there. So I know you had to get past that, but like what brought you to that space where you felt like that you was just really down like that?
What brought me to the space where
you was like depressed? Because like right now I see you got a lot of energy going on. So it looked like you straight now, but in that time period when you was depressed, like what led up to that?
Oh, definitely my parents' death. My first adoptive family, which is the lady who used to babysit me and who brought me in, she was living with her brothers and sisters. I mean, I love them and I forgive them, but in the beginning it wasn't all rosy. So I was very much aware that I was the adopted child, that I wasn't family, that I went through all of that. So growing up, I struggled with knowing that I belonged in the world, I felt like I was just abandoned and nobody loved me, or, you go through these perceptions until you snap out of it and realize, God, our creator, is our true parent, and God loves us, and if God didn't love me, I wouldn't still be here today and doing the work that I do now. So it took me a while to forgive people in the past that maybe didn't make me feel so loved and welcome, but when I forgive them and worked on myself and worked on my relationship with my creator, then that's when my life turned around. Because before, when I was struggling with these depressing thoughts and things like that, my life was completely different. I mean, I was always broke. I was always angry. I had some friends, but it was very limited. It was just, it wasn't like my best life, my greatest life or anything like that, until thank God I started slowly going into meditation and energy healing and being curious, because I always had spiritual gifts, even though in the beginning I didn't really understand what was happening with my intuition, but when I went into that world and started studying about intuition and energy healing and chakras and meditation and even ancestral work, and angels and all these things, then that's when my life evolved and became completely different, where I started having success in my financial life and having more friends who were very positive and friends who were high achievers, and I started just learning from them, and to where I am today on this passionate mission to just help more people as much as I can, whether it's through positive affirmation, whether it's through comedy, whether it's through marketing, helping them make more money with their businesses, just being of service.
Right. So you mentioned earlier that caught my attention. You say spiritual gifts. Now, what the spiritual gifts that you talking about that you have, is that related more so to a lot of religions that come out of Haiti?
You're referring to like voodoo or?
I'm not. No, I'm no. 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 I'm not referring to anything, but I mean that could be it. I don't know, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm just saying, is it related to that, or what is it? I'm just asking the question. You said spiritual gifts.
Okay, cool. So everyone have their own spiritual gifts. My spiritual gifts that I became aware of were clairaudience. So clairaudience is when you're able to hear things in other realms that's not in this immediate 3D world that we're in. For example, where I could hear the voices of people who have passed on, where I could hear if they say something to me, or sometimes they will tell me things before it happens. And that's how I knew before that I was like crazy, because it's like, oh, did you just hear that? And nobody else would hear it. I'm like, how do you not hear that? Like somebody just spoke. And, enough time that this happens, and then I would hear something relating to a future event. And then when the event happened, I was like, oh my God, like a voice told me that. So I always had these instances, kind of similar to people who are clairvoyant, meaning they're able to see things that most people don't see with the naked eye, like when they see spirits or things like that. For me, I could never see spirits. Like I could hear them, I hear their voices, they would talk to me, but I couldn't see, like I couldn't tell you where they are. But now as I've evolved, I understand that every single human being have intuitive abilities. It's kind of like a computer. Like if you have a computer, you can surf the internet. So if you're in a physical body, you have intuition and you have intuitive gifts, whether it's clairvoyance, whether it's clairaudience, whether it's clairsentience. Clairsentience is more, when you feel things before they happen, or you feel energy very strongly. Claircognizance is when you just know, but you really don't know how you know, but you just know, even though you don't have like physical evidence how you got that information, but somehow you know. So those are like the four main ways that people can process their intuition, their gut feelings. But however, you can tap into any of these gifts. It's sort of like with me, I was born clairaudient. But later on in life, as I started studying my intuition and how my intuition communicates with me, then I was able to develop my clairvoyance gifts, where I can see things as well. And I'm okay with that. Like it doesn't scare me, but it took me a while to get there, because, sometimes people can be like, oh my God, like I don't want to see things. But when you understand, manifestation and how you can create your life from a place of a multi-dimensional being, then that's when your intuitive gifts comes into play. And
Oh yeah, now see, this is a great part of the conversation now, because you're about the first person that's come on our show to start having this kind of conversation. It's great for me to even hear you talk about some of this. A little earlier, we're gonna get into some things you said, but earlier you thought I was mentioning voodoo. And do people still practice? And I'm asking for the audience sake. Do people still practice voodoo in Haiti?
Oh my God, yes. And what I am absolutely proud of is that there's a new generation of young people who are making sure that our ancestors' tradition is not forgotten. Because what people don't realize, first of all, voodoo is neither good or bad. Voodoo is it's sort of like a knife. You can use a knife to cut your apples and make your fruits and your salads and cook. Or you can use a knife to do something bad. But the knife itself is neither good or bad. It's the person that's using it. That's one thing. The other thing too is the aspect of voodoo that people think is bad from what they've seen in the media or they hear. It's actually not voodoo. It's an entirely different world. Voodoo itself is actually the light. It's good. It's healing. It's honoring our connection with the earth. It's honoring our ancestors. It's honoring our divinity. That's what voodoo is. But what they tend to brainwash in the media, that's an entirely different world that unfortunately kind of get labeled under the voodoo umbrella because it's people, they're not, I guess, educated in a way like that.
Oh, we know they're not educated, but the thing is about voodoo, like one thing we do know from history, the white man was petrified of voodoo. That's why you mentioned voodoo and you said the media, which we know is the white man, they put it out there like that. So based on what you know, what scared the white man about voodoo when he showed up to Haiti?
Well, I mean, what I know for sure is that us Haitians were the first Black nations to have our independence, and we didn't do that with nuclear weapon. Okay, so if you're talking about defeating the opponents that were considered highly advanced, and you have us in this little island of Haiti defeating and gaining our independence. It wasn't like we didn't have no nuclear technology and nanotechnology. We did that with voodoo. We did that with our ancestors. We did that with our ceremonies. So of course, I think because of that, it got labeled as something that people should stay away from, because imagine if the entire world were able to master this magic, right? To learn how to stand your ground, to learn how to defend yourself, or to learn how to be in power, because let's not forget that Haiti used to be the pearl of the entire Caribbean, so unfortunately, things kind of got forgotten a little bit along the way. But I am grateful that we have a lot of young people. We have great teachers like Dr. Charlene Desir from Harvard University that's doing a lot of work to bring back the ancestors' knowledge and energy, back to the planet. So it's about time that people know the truth, and it's about time that, especially our race, that we claim our power, and live up to the destiny that we're capable of, because we're mighty and we have a lot to offer to this world. And it's our time. It's our time to shine, and we're leading the way.
Yeah, and you brought something up that was very interesting, because when they brought the slaves over from Africa, in which voodoo is just an African religion, that's all it really is. Let's call it what it is. When they brought us here, the first thing they wanted to do was, well, they did do this, was take away our religions and take away our language. And basically what you were saying was you guys tapped into voodoo in basically you're talking about the 1804, the Haitian Revolution, when they defeated the French, right? And they tapped in, you saying they tapped into voodoo, and along with using the land, using everything that they used to defeat the French. And you're right, they didn't have the weaponry of the French at that time period. They didn't. And they defeated them and had them running out of there. So which is definitely a testament. So what you're saying is that in order for Black people to get to their true strength, they need to tap back into our own spirituality and get rid of what they gave us, white Jesus, not even the real Jesus, the white one that's was even in existence. That's like their God really is white Jesus, and that shouldn't be ours. So you're saying that's what we should do, is tap back into maybe African spirituality?
I don't necessarily want to label a specific type of spirituality, because the truth of the matter is each person has their own connection with the creator. And
Right.
what matters is, as long as you're in alignment with your own connection with your creator in your own way, that's when it's important. And not coming, my thing is, as long as it's not coming from a place of fear, a place of like, you got to know that you're one with your creator. And when we go back to the spirituality of our ancestors, that's how we were living. It was like we were one energy, one with the earth, the animals, the spirits. It was all one world. We weren't like, oh, like a little human, and then there's like this God over here. No, it was like, we come from the gods, and we're children of God. So therefore, this is our realm, and we can create, we can build empires, we can grow, we belong here. So as long as, whatever the spirituality is, but you're empowered in that state to be in oneness with God, I think it's amazing. And I say that because, I've encountered some religion. I won't name names, but I've experienced some religion where it's all like, there's a lot of subordinations happening, and you don't really feel empowered. You feel like, like this little tiny grain, and like you have to beg for your sins and forgiveness and this and that. Like, I don't truly believe that. I see it more as we're God's little kings and queens, and this is our playground.
Oh, you don't have to say it, but I'll say it. Westernized Christianity, I'll see it. You don't got to see it. I'll see it. No problem. But here's the thing. The reason why voodoo is always interesting, because anything that makes, the even to this day, the white supremacists are afraid of voodoo. Like, if black folks was to tap into voodoo or tap into something else, right? And you have some black folks that's so brainwashed, they're like, oh my God, he's saying voodoo. Oh my, because anything outside of white Jesus, they won't get afraid of it, right? But we had these conversations here. I'm listening to what you're saying, and anything they're afraid of, now I want to know more about. So you saying more people today are trying to get back, or are trying to practice the religions and different things of the ancestors, and not forgetting. Don't forget, please don't forget. But you mentioned earlier about hearing things or whatever as well. Is that part of voodoo?
Well, no, not necessarily. That's just part of being human. Like I was saying, as long as you're a human, you have intuition. And intuition manifests different ways for everybody. Like, for example, I have a friend of mine, her intuition manifests through dreams, where she would literally dream something 2 days before it happened, and then you'll see it in the news. Like, if something happens in China or something happens in a country, she'll literally dream the entire event sequence by sequence, and she'll tell you the dream. And then like 3 days later, you look on Google News or Yahoo News, and you see the entire event just happen in the country. So it's not actually special. We're all special. We all have that multi-dimensional connection with the universe, and we can tap into different time frames. So as long as we're all understanding that the people that we see that have these, whether they're psychics or anything like that, they're not special. We all have the ability to understand things and see things and hear things and know things. The only difference is that that person might have developed that ability more than other people. So example, it's like a computer. We all have a computer, but somebody might be a nerd and know how to do coding and know how to do this and know how to do that. How do they know how to do that? Because they studied the computer, they studied how to work with the codes and the digits and make all these things happen. But if you have a computer, can you learn these things and actually do that too? Absolutely, yeah. So it's the same thing with intuitive gifts.
Yeah, and I could tell you what, like everybody has gifts. I agree with you 100%. Everyone has a gift. It's multiple, spiritual gifts if you get into studying that. And I've had my time studying spiritual gifts, and you're right. Even what they even call, even if you read the Bible, right? And they even talk about maybe the still small voice, like I say, of God that could speak to you and give you ideas if you know how to listen to it and hear it, right?
Yes.
Because even some of the greatest ideas I've ever had has been, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning while I'm quiet and I'm just listening and it drops. And I'm like, I write that down. And then it's been my best ideas. But let me ask you a question. Since you maybe hear different things from the ancestors at times, what do the ancestors think of coronavirus?
Interesting, because I haven't really gone and asked that question, so I have to go and meditate and let you know what they say. But however, when I think of the coronavirus, I see the blessing in it. Even though it's tragic that a lot of people have lost their lives through that, and a lot of it could have been prevented, and we're doing better, and people are becoming more aware so that we can have control of that. But the silver lining in that is I see families becoming together, people that were maybe in the verge of divorce because one partner was just always busy and working, didn't have time to build a relationship because they were just chasing money all the time. But now with the shutdown, they're able to face their partners, they're able to rediscover love again, they're able to know what it's like to just entertain each other from the basic ways, because you're limited, and you're so I see beautiful things happening. I see kids that were just very disconnected with human life, and now that they're learning how to be more human, they're learning how to play, they're learning how to just be. And I think it's amazing, to see the kind of love that's being created, and people just helping each other. People, even down to the celebrities, like major actors and actresses and singers, like the big time celebrities, just to even see them on a much more human level, just connecting with the public, where before, if they never had time to like hang out on a live with people like that, or just do live, not looking all glam and just be, just look like everybody else, like no makeup or anything, just hanging out and talking about what's happening. And to see them, even them having the time to do that, it's like, wow, we really went back to just human nature. And I think that's the silver lining that I stay focused on. And now that we're slowly coming out of the shutdown, so I'm hoping that we keep that same energy of let's love each other, let's spend time with each other, let's play, and it's not all about technology all the time, things like that. I hope that the world remembers that.
Yeah, I mean, the coronavirus definitely is been, some positives for some people, and of course, like any person that passed away, of course, like you said, is bad.
Yeah.
But personally, has coronavirus been a good thing for you and your business?
Oh, well, I'm in the world of advertising online and using things like Facebook ads and YouTube ads to generate business for companies. So my business has seen, maybe I would say, a 80% increase since the coronavirus, because now we have businesses that relied on networking events or workshops or live events to grow their businesses. And since that cannot happen with social distancing, a lot of them were clueless on what to do to generate business online. And that's my world. That's what I do. And now I'm able to help them, whether it's to teach them how to do it themselves, or some people just hire me to do it for them. But it's never, that's another major silver lining in coronavirus, from the coronavirus, is to be able to teach business owners how to keep their business going online versus, the traditional ways that they used to be before coronavirus.
Yeah, right. Because, you see all these celebrities, like you said, now are jumping in basically my world. Cause I've been doing this, online, and I know what I'm doing here. And now they trying to do all these lives, and they trying to do this and they trying to do it. And I see them, and like, yeah, you can see they beginners on a lot of this stuff, you know. But now some
Yeah.
of the celebrities done, you know, online, and which is great. But for the most part, a lot of them is just still trying to learn and get involved with it. You know, just to see celebrities doing these versus battles and all of that, but they can't perform like they used to and all of that. So now your company that helps people, what's the name of your company?
So the main one right now is 21daymusicplan.com. That one is for music artists, music producers, songwriters, or really creative entrepreneurs to learn within a 21-day span how to go from where they're at to having their business fully online, generating income online through specific avenues that we teach them that are working right now. So, you know, if people want to know more about that, they can go to 21daymusicplan.com. And that is, I teach a lot of the advertising and marketing. And Mahogany Beats, who is a 2-time Grammy Award winner, he teaches more of the music business setup and the bigger things in music, because there's also brand deals like getting your music into TVs and movies and things like that, and that's his world. So we're kind of bringing the best of both worlds, which is kind of how to make money online right now within the next couple of days, so you have money to pay your bills and, you know, to live. And then Mahogany is teaching the bigger money, like how to, you know, place your music in movies and films, which then brings a bigger chunk of money. But it takes a little bit of time, because you do have to have, you know, the right music and skills and all that to get to that level. But we give them that kind of like, we help them through all of these different stages. But the main focus of the 21-day music plan is to help them make money now online.
Yeah, and you know, some people need that, and some people, you know, like I said, that they will pay to learn. You know, basically, you put a course together, right?
Yeah, well, right now it's actually live. We started May 7th. So today we're on day 8, I believe, and we're doing it in real time. So every single day, our students, they get an email with the video of the day and specific task that they have to do for that day. So we're actually doing it live right now with our students, and anybody can, you know, they can join in. It's not too late. You know, they'll be able to catch up and join us for the 21-day music business plan.
All right, 21daymusicplan.com. And you know, what's your Instagram in case people want to go check out your Instagram?
Yes, it's Evelor Savior.
Okay, Evelor Savior on Instagram. All right. So, you know, Evelor, like I said, it was good, you know, definitely talking to you today and learning from you, you know, having that conversation definitely about, you know, spirituality, voodoo, and also about business, because coronavirus, and I have to admit, coronavirus has been, of course, bad, but for us, it's been good because we've been getting an increased viewership as well. So, you know, because people have been in the house, you know, like you say, social distancing. More
Yes.
people listening to podcasts and all that sort of thing. So yeah, if you're in online business, yeah, it went up for you big time.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. So Evelor, definitely, you know, it says 21daymusicplan.com.
Yes.
Okay. People want to look into that. And then we would also put your Instagram in the pinned comment below. So Evelor, definitely thank you for joining us today. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and have an amazing day. Thank you for this amazing community. Lots of success, and I'm here to be of service.